The Flash, number 10, written by Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, art by Marcus Toe. I genuinely felt like I missed an issue here, and it's very dense, so I'm just going to move very quickly through it, no pun intended. So, 2 years ago, Central City, there's this guy named Claudio. He's calling up his brother named Marco, basically saying, hey, I know that I said I could handle this job, but I don't think I can. Can you please come to Central City and help me? Love you, bye. And like pretty much as he hangs up, there's a knock on the door, and then there's also Marco calling him back. And he's like, oh, Marco, glad I could have you. And as soon as he opens up the door, he's just riddled with bullets. And Marco hears it over the phone, and he's wondering what's going on. Marco is Weather Wizard, by the way. Just putting that's in, you're going to need to know that. So then we cover the Flash and how he has been doing, like, he had to fight gorillas, and he went to the Speed Force, and he came back, and Dr. Elias is now turned against vigilantes, which isn't explored at all in this. But regardless, Patty went to Nicaragua in order to investigate this Claudio murder, and then she was captured, and she hasn't been heard from in a while. So he's going to Nicaragua in order to take out Weather Wizard, because Weather Wizard is in Nicaragua. Okay, got it? Cool. So anyway, they're fighting, and Weather Wizard summons like just a flood that's moving its way downhill into a nearby village. And Flash has to do a superhero thing where he's using his draft behind him when he runs to funnel all the water through the village without it actually hitting any houses. And he gets it all out into a lake, and he saves the day. Meanwhile, Marco, Weather Wizard, is with Claudio's wife. Now that he's gone, he's dead. He's with her wife, who's, married into the family, trying to take care of that. And Weather Wizard basically like, he keeps on asking about Patty Spivot. I don't know Patty Spivot. I don't have Patty Spivot. Who the hell is Patty Spivot? And the wife is like, I don't know. It beats me. But then she sends a text saying, kill them all. And we see a cut over to a little village, a little cottage out of town where Patty is being held hostage because she was asking too many questions about Claudio's murder. And she's also being held there with some other guy who was basically the cleaner for the drug family that Marco was a part of, and Claudio was in charge of at that point. And he basically just lays out the whole thing of Claudio's wife killed Claudio because Claudio was going to do a peace treaty with some other family that would have cost them land, and therefore in order to keep their family standing he had to go. And so this guy found out about it, and he's been held captive here ever since. It's been 2 years, but regardless, that's what he did. So anyway, as long as he managed to hide evidence that would prove that she did it, and if he is killed, it will come to light. So that's the only reason he's kept alive. And at that point, then the doors open, and they're all loading up guns, saying like, oh, at least they won't kill us, right? Gulp. So anyway, Flash is still chasing after Weather Wizard, and he's firing off lightning bolts, and he's like, yeah, no, lightning's kind of my thing. So he just knocks them out, takes them out of the car. Car goes over the edge of a cliff. He's like, all right, tell me, where's Patty? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. To which then the wife chimes in, and I'll see if I can get her name at some point here. But regardless, she's like, I have them. Sorry. Yeah, it was me. They're over at that village over there. And he's like, if anything's happened to them, I will come back for you both. So Flash zooms off, takes care of the gunman, and he's standing on this village, like this little cottage thing, overlooking this massive field of what I can only assume is like opium or like pot. And he's like, well, let's just set fire to it. Like, we'll let it burn for a little while. So then Marco's talking to the wife. I really should figure out her name. Anyway, talking to the wife and basically saying like, why did you have them? And then she explains the whole thing of how she killed them to save the family, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, to save the family, you killed my brother? You killed your husband? Nah, that's not how this is going to go. And he calls down a lightning bolt because also apparently whenever he uses his powers, it makes him feel emotions. So like the rain makes him depressed, and like he wanted to kill himself for a while. So he's been pretty suicidal already. Regardless, he calls down a lightning bolt that he's hoping will just kill them both. Then we cut over to Flash, who's about to tell Patty the truth. He's like, there's something I need to tell you, Patty. And Patty's like, me first, Flash. Every time I look at you, I can't help but be reminded of how Barry died, and it's all your fault. And then Flash is like, well, I better go put out this fire. So he goes away. Anyway, Marco managed to survive. Flash just goes on for like 4 panels here about like, I can't put her in any more danger. I can't. She's so important, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Marco survived, and he's greeted by a floating woman who's Lisa Snart. It's Captain Cold's sister from like 4 issues ago. And she's standing here and she's like, oh, call me Glider. Time to get up. Time to come home, Marco. So, doing something with the Rogues. I know enough of the Rogues to know they're doing something with the Rogues. So, genuinely, if it wasn't for the fact that they spent like a full splash page at the beginning of this, just breaking down everything that happened over the past 3 issues, making it clear that I didn't miss anything, I would have thought I missed something. Because, like, Patty was just on a plane going to Nicaragua. Like, we didn't even know the murder she was talking about. And there was 1 page that mentioned Weather Wizard in the last issue. This felt so completely like, all right, we're just, come on, moving ahead. It wasn't a bad issue, but it was so condensed. Like, this felt like this was the capper issue to like 3 issues, and then we just ditched the first issue, took like 4 pages from the second issue, and shoved it all into the third. Ridiculously fast here. So, bad, no. Good read, meh. So I'll go ahead. Art-wise, it's good. I like Weather Wizard as the character they're setting him up here, but it does also feel so rushed that I don't really know if I like it in moving forward. I don't know. It's not enough to make an informed decision, I guess is what I'm basically saying. So I'm just going to go ahead and rate this one a 7. I was debating 6.5, but I'm going to make it a 7. And hopefully we can, pun fully intended, slow down a little bit here.